Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I'll walk you through how to build a complete WordPress website using Elementor. But before we jump in, let's rewind a bit. Prior to tools like Elementor, building custom websites in WordPress meant diving headfirst into HTML, CSS, and PHP, leaving many beginners feeling overwhelmed, frustrated, and honestly, just wanting to give up. Then came Elementor, and with it, a breakthrough in web design. Elementor changed the game by introducing a front-end drag-and-drop design, allowing you to build beautiful websites visually in real time without ever touching a line of code. Now, the first thing we want to do is to head over to our WordPress dashboard and navigate to Plugins, Add Plugin, and we will go ahead and search for Elementor. Go ahead and hit Install Now to let the plugin install, and upon completion we will hit Activate to ensure the plugin is ready to be used. Once the plugin is activated, it will prompt us with a setup screen in order for us to connect our Elementor account. This is useful because it will allow us to import sections, widgets, and many features embedded into Elementor directly into our site. I will go ahead with click here to connect to start the integration process. The setup screen will show us a few extra features, but we will go ahead and skip that for now. After that, it will take us to our Elementor Builder screen. I will go ahead and skip this as well, and then exit to our WordPress dashboard where we'll navigate to Themes to install the theme in which we will be using to develop our site. That theme is called Hello Elementor. Similarly to our plugins, we will hit Install, and once that is completed, we will activate to ensure the theme is ready for use. Now we can see that we have a new menu tab called Hello. Let's scroll down under Appearance and navigate to Customize, where we will be able to configure a few basic settings for our WordPress site. The first tab is Site Identity, and in this area we will be able to globally set our site logo, which will appear automatically on every page we create. The next option is our site title, and this is the name of our website, which we can set here. After that, we have the site tagline, which is also our slogan, and we can set that similarly to how we did the title. Last but not least, we have our site icon, and this is the small icon that shows in our browser window, which helps users to identify our website for better brand visibility and recognition. Once we're done with that, hit Publish in the top right corner to lock in the changes. Now we're able to configure some other settings, such as our menus, but we haven't created any pages as yet, so we'll go back and click on Homepage Settings. In this area, we can select what page should be set as our home, or sometimes called front page, and also what page we want to use for our blog posts. I'll select Sample Page from the drop-down, and you can see our page is automatically populated with the content of the page we chose. Let's head back over to our WordPress dashboard, navigate to Pages, and we can see that our sample page now has the front page identifier appended to it. All we need to do now is edit this page and change the name to something like Home. Save the changes to update the title, and from there we can then begin to edit our page with Elementor. Now that we're on the Elementor Builder screen, we can see to the bottom right that we have already completed 40% of the steps recommended to begin using Elementor. The next thing we want to do is to set up our global colors and fonts, and we can simply do that by clicking the Elementor icon in the top left and select Site Settings, then Global Colors. From here, we are able to use any color that we want for our primary, secondary, text, and accent options, and this will help us when building our site to easily select our brand colors for specific areas or elements that we need to apply these colors to. Next up, we have our global fonts, and again, this makes editing our pages and content faster by pulling these predefined typographies in one click. We can dynamically set options such as the font family, size, weight, and more. Always remember to save your changes to lock in the updates. Let's jump directly into editing with Elementor. The first key element when creating a website using Elementor is called a container. For most, if not all of the elements in Elementor, you will have three main tabs that you'll be working with. Those are Layout, Style, and Advanced. Each tab has different ways in which you can style, position, and align the element. We will be creating a site header, so for this we would want the elements of the container to flow in a horizontal direction, essentially allowing all the elements to stack beside each other. Now let's add an image widget, and this is what we'll use to reflect our site logo in our header area. We can adjust the width in our Style tab to make it fit and look more uniform. We'll also adjust the position of the logo to being left aligned so that we can add other elements to the header. If we had Elementor Pro, a lot of these things would be much easier. But just to give some free game, I'll show you a few ways to go around not having to pay for a Pro version. I'll go ahead and add an icon list, which we will be using as our navigation menu. Once we've added that, let's increase the width of our logo to be a little bigger. Now we can modify our icon list's layout from the default to inline so that our list appears horizontally like how a regular menu would. Let's go through each list item to update the name and remove the icon from each so that everything is looking nice and neat. You can also add the URL for each list item, which would correspond to the respective pages once we have created them. We can see that our menu is not in alignment with our logo, so to fix that, we'll navigate to the Advanced tab and set the margin top to 25 pixels to give it a nice position. Our next widget will be the Social Icons widget, and that will allow us to link our social handles for more user engagement. Once we've added that in, we'll change the shape to circular and reduce the size to get it looking uniform among the other elements. Let's set the size to about 15 pixels, and then from there, we'll go ahead and adjust the width of the container to give it some space within the header. We'll also set the margin top similarly to the icon list before, so that we have everything flowing in a nice order. Now it's time to add our final widget to complete our header, and for that, we will be using a simple icon widget. Let's navigate through the icon list library, and we'll use a cart icon, as this will be our menu cart for when we plan to add our products in the future. Let's adjust the size to 23px, and then we'll change the color of the icon to white so that we can then change the overall color of our header section to make it pop more. Remember, we can always use our structure feature in order for us to highlight or select which element we want to edit or customize. We'll choose our main container, which holds all the other elements, and then we'll go ahead and change this background color to black and our icon list, aka menu, to white. And from there, we should have everything all ready to go so that we can start designing the body of our website. Let's click this folder icon, which is our Elementor library, and from here we will be able to insert pre-made page layouts, blocks, and templates. This is why in the beginning we connected our Elementor account to enable these features. Click on the image widget to add your own photo, and then we can edit the button. This is also where setting our global colors and fonts will kick in by clicking the globe icon and selecting the brand colors we had set earlier. We'll change both the background and border color to our primary color so that everything corresponds accordingly, and then we can go ahead and edit the color of the title text to black for better styling. Once that's all done, we can move on to our next section, and in the main container we will go ahead and add a background overlay image to give it some flair. Let's adjust the display size to cover so that it takes up the full width of the container, and let's also adjust the opacity or transparency so that it blends in. I'll use our secondary brand color for this button and border color, and then I'll remove some of the additional image blocks to give it my own unique style. Let's add in our images, and then what I'll do is edit the margin top of the first image to 180px to bring it down lower than the second one. Now that everything is looking nice and smooth, we can navigate to our next section to begin our styling. The first thing I will do is to add a background color to the main container so that our page isn't looking too white. We can now see that the content within the container is sitting too close to the bottom and top. To fix this, we will go ahead and add some padding, and now we can see that the content is sitting neat within our container. From there, we'll adjust the color of the title and description to white to give the text better readability against the background. Let's jump into our service block and do the same with the headings and descriptions. I'll show you a quick way to edit elements that are the same by copying the style, not content, of the first one and pasting it onto the others. instead of editing each individually. Let's quickly update all the images for our services so that we can complete the section. After that, we will go ahead and edit the titles just so you have a full understanding of how to customize the different aspects of each element. I'll go ahead and remove this section, but feel free to keep anything that you'd need to give more information about your brand. Let's add in some images to these testimonials to give it some life. And from there, we will go ahead and change the color of this title to black to go with our other headings. I'll give the button our secondary brand color to maintain consistency across our page. All that's left now is to modify our footer area by adding our logo. And once we have that done, we'll give these social icons our primary global color. Where we have our footer bar, we'll adjust this background color to be the same as the header. Let's quickly preview our page by clicking the eye icon in the top right. Everything is looking great. We have our favicon, our logo, menu, and social icons. As we scroll further, we can see our animated sections falling into place. Our services have a nice pulse vibe on hover, and our testimonials are sliding right in. Thank you for watching. I hope you found this video useful and easy to understand. Please like, subscribe, and share if you enjoyed the content.
Webhead.